This is probably the most versatile deck I've ever played, and it's so fun. It was such a fast climb to infinite. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Marble Snap video. I just hit infinite yesterday, and I did it with a deck that uses a lot, not all, of the Guardians. I had a lot of fun with this deck. It's probably my favorite deck that I've played in the last few months. So as usual, before we get started, if you love all things Marble Snap, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell. Let's talk about the deck. So it is a kind of a lane control, location control deck. It is the Guardians of the Galaxy season. And so this deck has Nebula, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Gamora. It does not use Drax because Drax is a terrible card, and it doesn't have Groot. So today, I am Groot. So the idea of this deck is to just kind of have some type of lane control. With the addition of Nebula to the game, you kind of have another tool to control lanes to go along with Storm, Spider-Man, and Professor X. With Nebula, you can kind of direct which direction your opponent is going to play their cards and free up a lane that you can storm an empty lane and be ahead on that lane going into turn 4. And then because you are playing a lot of the Guardians like Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord and Gamora, knowing that your opponent is going to play into Storm on turn 4, or knowing on turn 2 that your opponent is likely to play into Nebula, you get a lot of power out of these cards. You also have a way to protect your Nebula with armor, as well as protect your Gamora or Magneto from Shang-Chi if you need to, but generally I think I couple it with Nebula most of the time. Now the ideal curve of this deck is to Nebula into Daredevil. On turn 3, play Storm. On turn 4, either play Armor and Jeff or an Enchantress just to get some power out there. A solid turn 4 is also Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon. Turn 5, ideally you would use Professor X to lock down a lane because you can see what they're doing after you play Daredevil. You also have the option to play Gamora on turn 5, and then turn 6, you're looking to either Gamora, Rocket Raccoon in a lane. Hopefully you've already won another lane with Storm or Professor X, or Magneto, depending on the situation. Now I know a lot of you aren't gonna have Jeff. I've seen this deck played with Lizard as well. It drops a win rate slightly. Jeff is a pretty good 2-drop. I would say that he might be the best 2-drop in the game right now. I highly recommend buying him if he's in your shop. It is 6,000 tokens, so it's kind of a lot, but if you buy him early enough, you'll kind of get full value out of that. Now, the best way for me to show you how this deck works is just to show you some games. So here are some games, and as usual, if you love all things Marble Snap and you love video games, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so no turn 1, and we just lost Professor X. He has no Galactus. We're just gonna snap, try to steal a turn 1 snapping. See, Bootman, it does work. All right, let's get to an actual game. All right, so from the last game, we know that this guy is playing a Galactus deck. So we have to play around a Galactus deck here. We could try to fill the raft. I don't think he's gonna go for it. But I guess we'll play into it and then maybe storm it away. I don't know if we're gonna fill it either. So I do like just storming it. What we can do on turn 4 if he plays Electro this turn is Spider-Man into Avengers Compound. And that'll prevent him from playing his Galactus. All right, well, it's a wave. I don't know if he's going to play it into the right lane. I think he'll play Avengers Compound most likely. But at this point, we're kind of guessing. If it is Avengers Compound, we can Professor X next turn, and it's an easy win. So let's give it a shot. Nah, he went right. So I guess the correct play there would have been to save Spider-Man, but I guess that's okay. He might play Doc Ock here, and if he does, he may lose if Professor X gets pulled out. We are revealing second, so let's just throw the Professor X down and hope to get a Doc Ock and hope that we can win it. I think that's probably the best play. He did snap on us. Hopefully the Doc Ock will pull the Gamora, and then could be game over. Ah, it's a Spider-Man. Well, I think we do win this one too. So unless he plays Jeff in his deck, we should be good here. I'm gonna snap back at him. No, I'll just continue. If I snap back, he'll know I have Jeff. So there we go. Easy win. Okay, so we have our Daredevil, which is nice. We could play Rocket Raccoon into Pet Mansion and then kind of gamble that here. I like saving him for turn 6 with a Gamora. We don't have Gamora in hand, so maybe it's correct to wait or to play him now. I like him for a follow-up. If I get Storm or Gamora, then this set will be nice. Storm would allow me to play both on turn 4. So we'll just drop a Daredevil here. I guess we play it middle to try to avoid the rock. Morbius. So it's going to be a discard deck. Enchantress would work well. I would assume he's going to play Collector. If he has it. We'll go Nebula and Jeff here. Hopefully give him the rock, and then Nebula can have a little bit of extra. So Magneto gone. It's not great. There's Gamora. I think we're just going to play Star-Lord mid, try to get the 5. We can move Jeff right and hopefully get a good Gamora off. I think an Enchantress or Professor X would be nice here. Professor X. So hopefully he played right. He's revealing first, so we can Professor X and move Jeff. And then next turn we can Gamora middle. And I think that's probably the best way we have to win. I would imagine just gonna snap here. He might retreat, but we are trying to rank up, so. All right, Professor X, get a good amount from the Jeff. And then I think we just Gamora mid. And I guess we'll throw Raccoon left just for a little extra. I would imagine he's gonna retreat. Oh no, he stayed. Shang-Chi? Odin. All right, well, I'll take it. All right, so I guess we'll play Nebula right. Oh, we'll play Nebula left and then probably Storm into here. Storm's a little risky against Dracula, but I think that might be kind of our best play. We might be able to even play our own Dracula, maybe get a Magneto. Played Morbius. So maybe a Storm right. No, I think we have to Storm left. Maybe we'll drop our Dracula in here. If we can get him to stack Dracula and Morbius on one lane, could be okay. I would imagine his Dracula is going to come down here, and he's banking on pretty big discards with... Actually, you know what? I'm going to Dracula right, and we're going to hope to play the Magneto middle. I guess it would make sense to just try to get as much power right then. So we'll go Jeff into Rocket Raccoon right. Try to get ahead on right. And on turn 6, maybe we can pull the Dracula to come mid. I think MODOK is coming down. He has 5 cards in hand, so Morbius is going to get to be a 10. I think we have to Spider-Man. I think that's the best play. And then we'll Magneto and try to pull Dracula. Hopefully we can win over this way. We can even move the Jeff over left. Maybe we snap here. I'm gonna snap here. It kind of looks like he's ahead, but if a MODOK comes down here, we're pretty golden.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
There's a MODOK, and we should be free to play whatever we want. And yeah, here we go. This is probably the most versatile deck I've ever played. And it's so fun. It was such a fast climb to infinite.